Welcome to Shapez 2, my name is Nilaus and we are here with Shapez 2, the Dimension update, the first major content update for the game, and I played the game right as it came out. I also played it in earlier versions, but I also played it very much when it came out and I was absolutely blown away. I simply love this game. It's just stripping away everything that isn't the factory building from a factory game. So there's no lore, and then there's no story, there's no characters, none of that silly thing. It's just pure and an awesome factory building. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to play this. I'm going to play it parallel on YouTube and Twitch. On Twitch, I'm playing it on insane and challenging, so very, very difficult mode, which means it's slow and it's cumbersome. But for YouTube to get to progression and focus more on the science, I'm going to be playing it in a new series here. We're going to be making a new game here, and it's going to be... See, I'm playing insane normally, but I'm playing hard, and I want to do the challenging here. The reason why I want to do challenging is because I really don't like the idea that copy-paste is free. Platform limit here. So I also want that when we have some achievement, some goal we want to achieve, then we are... there, update 1. Then we're actually seeing it run for a little bit. So, map generation, there's a seed here if you want to copy that. And the game, none of these specific rules here, so we'll dive in. So if you want to see more of this series, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comment section below what kind of structure and overview and throughput of all that stuff you want to see for this series, because I love it and I just want to play more. And what are we going to do first? We're going to just remove all the junk because we want our own junk. So let's see. So the idea is just to explain it for anyone who's unfamiliar with it, and just look a little bit into some of the things that is new in this update, because there's a lot of things that are new, but many of them are a little bit later. So I could sort of skip ahead and only do the new stuff, like the new kind of trains, the new 3D platforms, but I think that would see here, the third platform floor, I think that would kind of be missing on some of the fun of exploring it, and it would just be like a showcase of, oh, here it is. So I want to actually make a little bit of a let's play out of it and see how that works. So let me know if that's something you want to see. Let's start with the very basics of how this game works. We are supposed to be delivering these shapes as milestones. We check our milestone, our objective. We want to complete... Where are you? There's also this goal here. So we have these tools available. We have rotate and cut. Wow, that's weird. Oh, completed. That's all the tutorial. Yes. So this part here, we start here. This is why we want these two, and then they will be combined, and then they'll get later on into this shape, and then we'll unlock the next level. On top of that, we also have... Oh, wow, we even start with research point. That's so cheeky. And we have some... There. Here, we have some extra objectives here that we also want to do, because these give us points. And these points, you can see 2 points, 2.2, 2, and 6 points. And those points are research points, and they are needed for unlocking a lot of things. So it actually turns out that since we are starting with some points here, thank you very much, we can unlock some of the things that make everything just a little bit easier. So we're going to be unlocking a cutter, a swabber, Ooh, I don't have a lot left, so yeah, it's either this one or yeah, that one and that one. There you go. We'll unlock these two. Good. So what that gives us some tools that we have to work with, so that gets us a little bit more comfortable. What I want to do is I want to try to make things as modular as possible. But let's start with the beginning. First, we're just going to look at these shapes here and see if there are any shapes that we already have that we can just kind of use. We want to get something nearby. I mean, what if one of these shapes just spawned for us immediately? That would be so nice, just around here somewhere. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it, so we actually have to do some work here. To understand how the game works, it's better to just start playing it. So what we're going to be objective to start off with is this one. We want to make a shape that has a blue in the corner and a blue in the corner and nothing in the other parts. So I'm going to use this one as our template because, well, that's kind of what we want. All we need to do is cut away that part. So what we do is there are 2 levels. There is this one. This is the space platform level. And what we have here is a miner. Here you can see as we add more, let's sort of push in here, we get all 4 of these enabled. So and then we can, this is the space belt and space platform level. And then we go into sort of the individual designs. Think of it, city blocks, what's inside the city block. And that's a really, really efficient way of looking at it. What we're going to do is we're going to be making these. These are just miners. Each of these have a throughput of 15. The belts have a throughput of 60. So we're going to be making this. And what I do to turn the belt is you can just kind of drag it somewhere. The belts are incredibly easy to make. But I press C and then put an anchor in, which means that you can just get the belts to move where you want. Something that's important to note is that belts don't cost anything. So there's no cost to doing this. There are blueprint points that we have to maintain, and we need to get more points by sort of feeding it either of these two shapes. This shape gives 1 point, and this shape gives 2 points. So we feed them those shapes, then we actually get some points, which is pretty cool. But we're going to do this one first because it's kind of interesting. So we can then go up to a platform level. We can do a little platform. And then what is it we want to do with this? Well, we have options now for taking the shape, and we can rotating it. We can cut it. We can stack it. And yeah, so that's what we want to figure out. So what if we start by... So there's a different kind of cutters. And there's no problem in buying it. Nothing runs out, so you have infinite resources. So if I just do this cutter, then we lose half of it. I don't like that. But we unlocked a new cutter, which looks like this, which actually cuts this into 2 parts. And if we could just kind of get rid of the last part here, that would be nice. Maybe we could do something like a rotate and then a rotate the other way. And then we can do a swapper, which isn't going to do what I want. Yeah, swappers are the bane of my existence. Actually, we don't need a swapper. We actually just need to cut. Oh, they rotate the wrong way. Was it like this and like this? Oh, we do have the 180. Oh, okay. And yes, and yes. So that means we just, this is cutting half, and it's not a cutter, it's actually a half destroyer. This one cuts in half. This one is destroying half of it. So what if we rotate it back like that? And then we could just merge it together. There are 2 ways that we can merge it together. We can either do with these kind of things here, where they sort of stack up, go up a level, and then sort of get plopped on top of each other. Then they will sort of fall down to the lowest level they can. But this one is slower. This is only 10. And these ones are, the slowest one here is, oh, this one's 15. Yeah, so I would actually slow down the whole process. This is 15, this is 30, this is 20. So I would slow down the whole process by using this one. So I'm thinking, isn't it possible for us to maybe use a swapper for this? There we go. By doing this, we basically swap the halves. And because we swap the empty half with the full half, it actually just works. So this little thing here is actually going to be our baseline for what we want our little factory to do. And I can also see that we can't put... I need 4 of these little modules here to take 1 belt. So we can already see that this is not going to be big enough. But if we build it bigger, then we can take our little design and then go maybe out here and go 1, 2... No, that's too close. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they all come in here, and the first one will go like this, and then we're going to be grabbing it out. And then we can see I'm holding shift, dragging a box. Then as I copy, you can see over here it costs 118 points. So that's 118 blueprint points it costs for us to do this copy paste. There we go. And that. Next one. And very much of this game is about coming up with little micro designs and then merging them together to form better like factories that actually do something. And if you can get to a point where you actually build some modules that are reusable, then that's so much better. And then we go up here, we have normal belts, And those belts, they can't really go anywhere, so we could sort of build these platforms all the way over. But there's also out here, we have space belts. They have been improved, so they are better than they used to be. Now they are four times as much capacity, not 4 times as fast, but they are 4 times as much capacity on this belt. And that goes in, and then I will take all of it from here, getting it in, and the objective is to throw things in the vortex. There we go. And we're now getting the very first ones all the way in. It's really nice that there's a little green icon here that indicates that the shape that you're producing is actually correct. So you don't have to wait until it comes in to actually see that it's correct. As soon as you make it, it'll have an icon that it is a correct shape. And we're starting to see this. This is accumulating. It has to accumulate to 1800. Now this design, like this exact design, we can just replicate it over here and just get it in here. So I'm making this a little bit different, just because I want to save this for something else that we're going to use later. But what I can do is I can then go up here, take this, copy, and you can see this one costs 1900, so almost 2000, and we only have 7000 blueprint points, and we need to get more. And then I'm going to drag it in here, and from here I'll just go in. Here, one thing that's super important is that there is no rotation requirement here, because you can just rotate it. Like this one, for example, like looks like it's incorrect, like it's not rotated the right way. But if I do that, then it is rotated the right way. So it doesn't matter what rotation you have of the final shape, as long as the shape is correct. Because once it goes in here, it tumbles in, and then it's going to be rotated anyway. So that's something to keep in mind, that you don't have to rotate it just to make it look right, because there is no such thing as north. Actually, there is, because when you go no, there's no such thing as north, but somehow there's always sort of something that emerges as north for me. Now we can see that this is not sustainable. We are going to be running out of blueprint points soon. So the next thing we want to do is get some kind of process to make these ones here. Luckily, the blueprint point is also one of the shapes that I want. So we can take this one, for example, and then put a little corner in. I can take the corner down here. This corner is not particularly useful because I don't have anything right now that uses this star shape. So the combination should be getting this one plus that one. The first milestone is complete, the blue one, and the red one is chugging along. So we are going to start making this one. Well, we're going to be doing some advanced designs. Well, I mean, given what we have, then it is going to be a little bit advanced. So what I'm doing over here is, this one is not going to be advanced. This is just going to be a rotating cut. And I'm going to say, okay, so this one is, the top right hand is missing. So I want this one to be cut and rotated to the top right hand when facing this way. So that's kind of all I need to do here. So I need to figure out, we're just going to do a cut, and let's see if I just get it in. And then if I just cut it, nothing gets cut. So we do need to rotate it. This one cuts the wrong way, and that means if I rotate it the other way, like this. What? This one. There. And then I cut it. Then I get the shape I want. And then I'm going to rotate it so that it is in the correct location. So I need to do this operation here. No more, no less. And that will just be made in here. I'll make it this wide, because this just needs to be done for... I'll just use C for C is basically the Q function from Factorio, where whatever you are looking at, you get a copy of that, while Control C is a copy and uses blueprint points. So keep those differences in mind there. And C is also the anchor while dragging belts. So keep your hand on that one. So this one will get us that shape where we need it. Easy. Well, this one is a little bit more complicated, and I want to see if we can do this in very compact manner. So what I need to do is, or what I want to do is, I want to take this, but I don't want to waste something. So I want to take both of those out here. That was the other goal. See, I don't get anything from these goals. I just get progression towards the next level, which is what we should aim for today. I get these two. So what I could do is just say like, okay, let's get this one out. And then what if I get this sort of up a level? Then we can basically go out on this one where we say one half of the shape is on the ground level and the other half of the shape is on the top level. Then I can split it out somewhere else and then stack them on top of each other later on. I think that makes sense. So that's kind of the objective. So if we do this and we just look at this splitter here, and if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, which is what I need for this one here, so I can go out and this goes here and you go up. Damn, I always do this. There. Oh, there. Good. So now I have one half of the shape up and the other half of the shape down. That's okay. But we can also see now that if I take this shape and I copy it, this uses blueprint, so I'm not going to do it. So there, this is more than half. So this is not going to work. What if I could flip it and then just superimpose it? If I did this, it would take exactly half. But the problem is that it is now overusing the belt. It gets one belt in and it gets two belts out. So we need to be able to get two belts out. There is luckily a solution to this, which is kind of clever. And we're going to say these two here, then go to here, and then we just jump. This is one of the new things you can actually, they don't always jump for, but they do that now. And let's see. I don't think I want to do it this way. So now we have that. What's the point of all of this? Weird that it does say like that. It's marking, okay, when it jumps, it marks what's jumping. Because then I can do the same thing here. I can flip it and simply make that here. And then you can go up to that location and up, 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 and then down. Now that's a beautiful pattern, because now it takes one half, this belt goes in, and then we can go over here. And then the top level, do the same thing. And then we just copy it. That's unfortunately going to cost some points. How many points? 300. We can live with that. Rotate and done. So this is now a little bit more advanced way of doing it. That is just barely room for it in here. So this could be like a product of, if you want to split two halves, then we can do that with one tile here, and then it goes out in different layers. That's pretty good. Right, so now what we want to do is we want to get this shape we have here. Let's go that on a belt, because then we get the icon out here. We want that to be merged with the top one. So I think we just need to get this one going. So I'm going to get this straight ahead here. And then the top is going to go up here. And then it go down. There. So now what I need is I need to get with space belts all the way up here. And then we need to get some kind of build here that stacks things on top of each other. They either stack things on top because they will fall down to the lowest level, or we use the splitter. I actually prefer to make a stacker. So let's try to design something here that is stacking. It's basically taking whatever comes in from the side and stacks it on top of what is coming in here. There. That goes up. So basically what we want is there. And we want to find a way to get this stacked on top of each other. So the stacker is here. And the way the stackers work, if these two items here are on top, on the same location, then they get stacked. Like you can see here, the blue is on top of the uncolored one. Or if they're not, they will fall to the lowest level and then they will be stacked. So what we need to do is we need to do some kind of design. And they need 6 of these on one. So we have to build it as far away from this location as possible. That's definitely not it. There, that's 6. And then we can do this as well. And that and that. So the question now is, can I get stuff in here easily? There. That works fine. Oh, no. Here. There. And then the question is, can this go in here in a meaningful way? I would say yes. Go up. Oops, don't go down. There. This one. And then the question then, or the, it's going to be here. You're going to go up and then go into that side. This looks awful. Well, it works. It's not pretty. But it works. It gets these two combined. Then what we'd actually want is we now need to combine this, and then we get the final shape, we hope. And since this one is working, we can just do, let's see, where is it going? Like that. And then a space belt, and then a space belt in. Right? Because, let's go through this. Since these are not in the same location when they fall down, there we go. They will actually fall down to the lowest level, and then I have my shape. And that's a full belt, the full belt, 4 full belts. That's kind of a good measure of working. And then we just need to grab this and get it in here. The great news about this shape is that we're going to keep working with this shape for a long time, because it's getting us points here. And maybe if we even find or can build the other shape on top, then we can just stack that on top with our little stacker we now have built, because that stacker just continues to be useful for us. And, well, we have a stacker, so maybe we actually want to get this stacker done. The first of the blueprint shapes are coming in, which is perfect, because it both accumulate up here. We get 1 point for each of these. Come on, give me 1 point. There we go. 1 point here and 1 point here. Right, so the next thing we want to do is let's go up and look at the continuation of these frames here. That seems to be like a good thing for us to do. And we're going to be needing a circle, and we need to do this. So basically we can just use these 8 ones here. They're kind of, well, they're kind of useful and kind of not really. Because I can just use this format here, because this will get us exactly what we need. So I can just copy this one over. Right, let's see if it is as simple as I proclaimed it to be. Oh, no. Yes, those. Oh, what happened? What happened, actually? I don't know. There. Oh, right. It just says that I can't afford the blueprint again. Okay, good. There. Let's see what we get out. We get exactly the same shape as this. So what we now need to do is we need to cut this one and kind of replace it with this stacker that we already have built, because we want to reuse cycle as much as possible. And now in this case, it is actually the red that has to go on top. So I can do this, and that one, and that one, and that one. That is very simple, and we get a green confirmation that it is the right shape. Now this shape doesn't give us any blueprint points, and as you can see, we have run out of blueprint points. Because the way I'm working is very modular, then I can't just do the same thing for the blue. So there's going to be a little bit of waiting time. What I do want to do is maybe we can actually use this pattern here. This one is splitting out half, and then this pattern is splitting out. So what if we used this square shape as the premise for that one? I think that would be a great idea. It's close, it's useless for other things, so might as well just get it there. And then we could basically do this part and then take the 1/2 and then cut it off. I think that could be an idea. Oh, we also got our first achievement here. That gets us 5,000 blueprint points, which is amazing, which is just what we need. And it also gives us some, we don't get extra. of platform limits. Not just yet, I guess. Okay, well, the good news is that actually means that we can replicate all of this for the blue one as well. So I'm going to do that. That's going to be easy. And this is where the modularity of this game is absolutely amazing. This is coming here, which will be getting us exactly the shape we want. And then I'm just going to get it in here. And then we get that stacking shape. Which one was supposed to be on top? That's the blue one is supposed to be on top. So I'm just going to be... And it's very important that when you do a blueprint that you undo instead of cut it. Because if you cut it, you're actually wasting the points. So I'm going to do this here. And then it goes back in. That one. Is it the right shape? It is, of course, the right shape. So let's start making this shape here. And this triangle, it basically means that we need to cut one thing out. And we actually have all of the templates we need at this point. This one will cut it in half and then take the halves out. Then I am going to copy this one, which takes the one half and puts it out on the other side. So for this part, we now need to take one of these. Oh, we're starting to get this one in. This one will need to be, basically it needs to be cut and like half destroyed. Let's go with this here. Okay, so this needs to be, let's see when it goes in. See, that doesn't cut anything. So we'll rotate it. There we go. And then we have to figure out, is this shape on top of that shape, is that going to work? Yes, that's going to be exactly what we want. So all I need to do for this shape here is just take a line like that and a line like that and then just build it. I will build this manually, even though I would much rather do it with blueprints, but I want to save my blueprint points. As you can see, we are not really having enough of that, and we need to complete some of these tasks. Milestones don't give us new tech and new levels, but the tasks give us research points and also extra blueprint points as well. So now what we want to do is we want to simply stack these two on top of each other, and luckily we also have a stacker available. So you can kind of see how awesome it works. We can also flip these giant things. Ooh, we are really running out of blueprint points. There we go. And is this the correct shape? It is. Great. And then that just needs to go in, well, somewhere. We're going to send it in here. And there we go. Right. So this is, that's the next one. Let's do this simple one, which should be pretty simple because we can actually, we could, if we wanted to. And this is one of those things where, no, I was just thinking like we could sort of have this one not cut it in, use some of it from here, but that's a really bad idea. Let's not do that. Let's just take some more of this plus some of these squares and make that shape. So I've now taken and built this to get started, and we're just going to make a really simple build here. Oops. So what is it again? This is just going to be like something with rotate and cut. This one is actually just going to be cutting, or at least more correctly, half destroying. And yes, I'm sure that some will say like, oh, but couldn't you just split it and then use both halves? Yeah, I could. But we don't need this to run very long time. It's very small milestones, and we have infinite resources. So making a more complicated build is not really worth it for me. This one, I can just do the same thing over here and see what happens. And that gets us, that one. Cool. So if I put this part together with this part, they're not going to work because they're going to be overlapping. I need this to be, I need this one here, which I think is the one I want to redo here. I want this to be rotated like that. Because then if I hover it like this, it's going to be correct. Here, here, And then all I need to do is bring these two together and in a stacker, and we'll build the stacker there. That's the minimum amount. Oh, wow. I am just burning through my blueprint points. Yeah. And this one can go in. Oh, this is kind of silly. We can do upgrades to the vortex. You can see there are 12 gates here. And we can also get a third level. But for now, this is what we have and it should be fine. We're still just raking in some points here. Yay, we get another upgrade here. So we can then go back up here and take a look at this. We want belt speed. But this is a little bit of a trick, I think. If you start upgrading these independent of each other, then the designs or the throughput will be out of match. And then you start designing for something that is not aligned. So basically, think of it factorial, you upgrade the belts, but the splitters are not upgraded. That's not, then you start making weird designs. So my recommendation is treat this as one upgrade, save up to 6, buy the whole thing, because then the ratio stays the same. Very important. The next short task is actually going to be super easy here, because we already have this shape. Now we're just being asked, could you just take this shape and put it on top of itself? Like, sure. Sure I can. It is very easy. I just do that. Here, this is a visual bug. It is going to work for all of it. It just has some weird thing. It's of course going to be producing at half the speed because it's outputting 4 belts, and then it's only going to come out as 2 belts of throughput, but it'll be 4 half belts out here, not 2 full belts like this. So all these will be producing, they'll just produce at half speed. But with these milestones, like 700 of these, it doesn't really matter. We're producing at 60 per second or 60 per minute times 4, and then it would just be half, so it's still 120 per minute. So it's just like 5 minutes instead of 3 minutes, 6 minutes instead of 3 minutes. Not a big deal. The next one is a little bit annoying here, because if I want to build this, then I'm going to destroy my blueprint points, and I really need my blueprint points. On the other hand, I'd also really like to get a better blueprint build, and I'd also this one is built, but is it working? Yeah, it is working here. Okay, we got the first one of that inbound. So the question is now, do I want to make a blueprint build and then not make that one, or do I want to make this one and then forget my blueprint build? Because I think that right now it's more valuable to focus on this milestone, because if I look at the milestone, then I do get 5,000 points, and accumulating 5,000 points is a lot of work. So I'm just going to be skipping making blueprints, but actually focusing on this one. I'm just seeing something here. I'm going to need these blocks down there, which means this has to go and be put over here, and you have to. Yeah, and this is the beautiful part of it. There's no loss of it. It's not like, oh no, we lost something. Yeah, we lost like a little bit of production, but that's not a big deal. So this is going to be taken out because I'm going to use this shape to put on top. And so how fast we can actually do this? Like, I just copied this one in. We have our stacker. That's going to go in here. And that will be this round shape on top of the other shape. So got here, space built in, and that should give us a green light. There we go. And this will be, damn, I don't have any more location. Well, I do have the bottom location here. That should be fine. Not as pretty, but it works. And we got another task completed. Done. That was like incredibly quick. And then funnily enough, we actually just want a smaller shape, which is okay. We'll get that shape. And let's see, this is the shape that we want. And then it's just a matter of finding this one. And that just needs to be, basically what we can do now is say, okay, you know what? I actually want to cut it. Okay, let's do it this way so that the shape is the same way. So I need to cut it again. So basically when we take all this out, and then what if we cut it again? Doesn't work. What if we do this and then cut it again? Is that the right location? Nope. Then if I rotate it the other way, and then I cut it, then it is in the right direction. Good. Here. Go out. Go out. And this is the beauty of some of these, is that it's actually a lot faster. So that goes here. I'll just take this out so that we kind of clean it out. There's no way of cleaning these belts out, but once this is running through, we are seeing that we are getting the right shape in for that one. And we're also getting this one, but we don't have any blueprint points. Okay, every milestone is now completed here. We are actually making good progress. Unfortunately, there's still a long way to go here. But what I have decided to do in the meantime, we got no platform points. How the hell do we not have platform points? Seriously? We do not get platform points. We get 500 platform points only for this, so I'm not actually able to make a platform. So what I was doing here was just kind of trying to get some points, but that's because I found the shape that we needed out here. But I can't drag it home because it's simply too far away. So what we need to do now is either work on the milestone or work on some more of these intermediate shapes. And, well, some of them are easy. Like, for example, this one just needs a circle on top. The only difficult part about it is the fact that, well, there isn't a whole lot of space around here. While this one is less easy, I would say, because here I need to say the lower one, which is here, is the one that goes straight ahead, actually has to be put in a little semicircle or quarter circle first. If we look at the final milestone here of the one we want to get, then I think that this one is, there are two ways of making it. You can either build it from scratch, build the ground level. Here you can build the ground level and then build the top level and then smack them together. Or the other option is, and I think that's the one they want us to do, is you take this one you have, you cut it in half, rotate one part, and therefore you have the left half, and you take this one and cut it, cut it and put it over there, and then you have the right half. And I think that's what they want us to do. So let's try to do that. The question is whether we already have all the tools we need, because I do think that we might actually have that, because on here, this one and this one is actually what I think we need here. Not there. Because then it takes our shapes out, and now those shapes are different. And I just need to make sure that I rotate them right way. Basically, what I need to do is then I need to say one of these is going to be rotated there. So this one will just be a simple rotator. Let's actually make sure that it follows that logic, which means this is correct and that needs to be rotated. I'm going to do it there. Here. And that needs to be rotated. And let's see. Is this the right rotation? I think it is. There. I'm still very concerned about my acute lack of blueprint points. Here, copy, and there. You can always disable this so you don't need blueprint points and you're not constrained by the platform. But, you know, I like that. And then I'm going to need a stacker, which we already have designed here. And that goes here and here. Oops, that's funny. Like that. And is that the shape? Yes, that's actually one half of the shape we need. And then we do the same thing for the red ones. It's a little bit more complicated here. The reason why is that just simply that's not enough room. We do need... I'm unfortunately going to do the stuff that I hate the most, is when you cut and put it back in. I don't get the points back, but I do lose the points, so... Ugh. Right. This one. And actually I undo. And then I try to place it here. That just looks nicer. Okay, so this is exactly what we had before. And this one, the little flag here, the checkered flag, means that it's something we have already completed. Then we take the stuff that we just did before. Do that. Then it comes out. And then I have to rotate it this way because this is, then it's the same way. And then I have to look at this one and say, okay, you're the correct way. You're not the correct way. So you need to be rotated backwards 1. We'll just do this shape here. And does that rotate you the right way? Not at all. So this is counterclockwise. Oh no, clockwise. And that should then be correct. That's not at all correct. That is correct. Actually, that's the lower one. That's the top one. Yes. And then get it into a box here. Or that one. And that we have now the other half of that shape, which now needs to go over to here. And flip. And goes here. And it goes under automatically. That's something new. And just like that, we have the final shape. And it goes in. That was pretty neat. The only thing we then need to do is this is going to run for 12,000. So it gives us time to do some other stuff with the other ones in the meantime. We're starting to see the next tier of shapes coming in. And you can see here, this is tier 3. And we need to get up to tier 4. And we are unlocking some more points. What is important to do for us here is that I want to get the build processing speed up there. And they now cost 70. So that means the next tier step up. This was a 50% upgrade. And this one goes from, they started at 60. So it goes from 60 to 90, 90 to 120. And yeah, this one means that you just have to collect 21 points and then do the collective upgrade. The bench stacker, I think I like that generally. Other things that I'd like to do is getting more inputs, which is nice. We might actually need that soon, but I'm going to be taking that one, which means we basically want all the stuff that is sort of the basic building blocks so that the designs we're making are consistent. We can now see that we are getting this one, and then these ones will complete pretty quickly, and then we'll get started on the final form. You can see this, the main milestone is going to take still a long time. So just nothing particularly exciting about these designs. Like for example here, it's just going to be, there we go. Now that's the final form. It won't show it, but it is going to be the final form. It'll just work at 1/3 the speed that it should be because I don't have enough feeding into it. But again, that doesn't matter because once it's done with this one, it's completely done. While we wait, these are still chugging along and they're going fine, but we're still only halfway. So let's come up with something else while waiting. And I've been looking at these milestones. It looks like this milestone should actually be done together with the other ones because they're kind of the basic ones. There we go. That was some more points. And down here, I'm actually looking at the rock hopper. This one actually gets platform limits because I have to delete stuff to build more. So for example, the one we just deleted, the one we just completed, which one was that? That was this one. Then I actually have to delete all of the build for this because it's so much. I'm so much in shortage of platform points that I just have to delete all of this, and it sucks. I'd like to sort of not kill all of the stuff I built there. And if I delete this now, I might actually lose some blueprints. So we're going to do one more design here. What I want to do is I want to make this shape. And what I have is I have this shape here. So I could and probably should do this in 2 steps. I think I'll actually do it in 2 steps just to make it a little bit more modular. So the first step I want to do is I want to just throw away the useless stuff, which means it's just a cut like this. So that's just like the most basic of basic shapes. And this is how I design. I want to have clean functions that can be used multiple times instead of having complex factories that do too many things. So for example, this one, you could say that's a waste of a platform point. But I think this is very valuable because then we can go here, that one. So now what is it I want to do? Now if I could say, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have one that says, I have two things next to each other, but I want them to be diagonally? That's something that could be generally useful. So how would we do that? Well, we're going to start by cutting it like this. Nope. We're going to start by rotating it and cutting it. Then I can rotate it again. And then I can go over here and use this fancy one like that. This is just inserting the stuff from the other side. So this one basically says two things coming in, and then they get split and then go out on the belt. That's pretty neat. The question is then, could I do all of this in a small build? I don't think so. Let's try that, because it would have to be this part, and then I'd have to build... No, there isn't room for it. Nope, don't need to. But this will then be kind of a modular design that will be building... I think 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just go out on this side, and this one goes... Oh. Here. And then we can copy at least this part. Like that, and like that. And it's also, the great thing about this design is that it actually works for multiple levels because it stays on one level. That's the beauty of using splitters instead of stackers for merging things together, is that you stay on one level, and therefore it also works when you get... shoot. There's not enough room. It needs to be moved up. And this sucks, because this is just wasted blueprint points, which is a little bit precious right now. There. Yeah. And that shape is then the one we need, and then I can drag it down. It's easy right now because there's nothing else coming in. Another thing here is, what else do we want to unlock? More inputs would be nice here, but I also, now that I have 22 points, it's so tempting to just get this faster. I'll get milestones completed faster. Overflow splitter, not something I need. Trash, I might need it. Third floor is something I really want, but on the other hand, third floor, it's not right now because we just don't have the platform points to actually support that. So this one is what we get upgraded and focus on. That means that they're twice as fast as they started out. We're now closing in on the final milestone of milestone 4. That's not what I wanted. That is here. And once we get that, we unlock level 4. All the first 3 levels are tutorial levels, so we skip that because, you know, I am the tutorial. And we get a lot of other things, like for example 500 platform limits. Oh yes, but we get liquids and all that stuff and more upgrades as well. But what we want to do, sort of to wrap up, is just to look a little bit about what I've actually done here, because it's actually just really modular and there's very few designs that I'm actually using. Like, I do have these kind of small ones that either rotate or cut something or destroy something, but generally the cool things, let's say it like this, is that we have a stacker. It could be Dyson in this, I'll concede that. We have this design here. Then we have this little bit more advanced design that is just taking care of basically... What is it actually doing? Like, yeah, this is the one that splits it. So it splits diagonals and puts them on top of each other. There. So that's also a design. This one is not so much, it's just like rotating it. But then we have this one, which is basically taking a full shape and turning it into a diagonal. And without... Yeah, it is turning it into a diagonal. So obviously it is throwing away half of the shape size. But, you know, it's really nice because sometimes you want the diagonal and you don't want sort of whatever else. So this is taking a full shape and turning it into a diagonal. Nice. And it also is in one plane. And wasn't there one more thing that we had? So it's basically the stacker, the sort of splitter into of diagonals into separate parts. Then we also had, like, over here, the last one we built was basically taking... No, that's not it. Okay, yeah, that's basically it, right? This this one. This one was taking basically parallel things and turning them into diagonal things. at no loss. So it's pretty cool. Those are the ones I as usual, when I make these kind of factory games and I do some designs, you can, we design them on camera, so you can just design them yourself, or if you are lazy or just convenient, then they are also available to Patreon supporters, and I'll be making a nice little blueprint package for each setup. I'll also be providing the save game. So if you are a Patreon supporter, thank you very much for supporting the channel. And my little gift for you, a little thank you gift, is that I neatly wrap up the blueprints for you, for your convenience. And basically that also means that I really want to get to 3 levels, because that means the blueprints we design are going to be persistent throughout the rest of the series. So we're going to be saving up to 50 points so we can upgrade that one here, the 3rd building floor, because that's really what matters. And the final thing is that we unlock the fluids. Ta-da, the fluids, and that's what we're going to be doing, taking a look at the next time. So new tasks, new upgrades, new buildings. That's going to be in the 2nd episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how this feels, the flow and length and all that stuff and detail level in the comment section below, and then I'll adjust accordingly. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.